Hey y'all, let's get into it. Now we are talking about this Diddy and this Cassie situation. Now, I know a lot of you all believe everything that's on YouTube, especially when it's coming from a woman, because all they got to do is bat them eyes, put on a little makeup, and y'all believe it. But let's get to the facts, because I know in your life you must have a brother, cousin, uncle, or somebody that's a male. When we allow people, and let's make sure you guys understand, this has nothing to do with victims, because there will always be victims. But at the end of the day, even a victim, everybody has to be questioned, because if someone is a victim and then the other person is saying that it didn't happen, then we have to allow both parties to present whatever they said happened, especially in this case, okay? This case in which Cassie Ventura, very money motivated because she walked away with $30 million. What would you do for $30 million? Cassie received $30 million, and now Sean was not even convicted of what she was paid for. Now, a lot of y'all say, oh, well, just because the jury didn't convict him doesn't mean that they didn't believe her. That is exactly what it means. Because then you're saying that for some reason the jury heard all of this testimony, but for some reason they let this big black man walk away. Is that what y'all saying? No, it is exactly what it means. The jury didn't believe her. Okay. They didn't believe it. Now, Cassie planned this entire thing. If y'all was listening to the testimony, then you would already know this. If you even watched a little of the testimony, you already know this. And if you don't, let me break it down real quick for you in under 5 minutes. Cassie had evidence of pretty much everything that happened. Now, I don't know how good y'all memory is, but I can't remember shit from last week. Like, I literally write everything down. When I tell you I write everything down, you see my little notebook, I write everything down. So the fact that Cassie knew everything from the date it happened, when it happened, who was involved, it's clear that she was taking notes the entire time, okay? Not only was she taking notes, her mama was taking pictures. Cassie's mother or her, I can't remember which one, testified that when Cassie visited her, that she took pictures of bruises. Let me make sure y'all understand. If my daughter ever come to me and say somebody, Negro that she dating put bruises on her, take me to jail, because I'm picking you up, okay? Now, I understand maybe her mama ain't like me. I get it. But how do you allow your daughter to go back to an abuser? Because we not going to act like we don't know that there was abuse. That is what he did. He definitely abused this woman. But what kind of mother allows her daughter to go back to a man that is abusing? He's abusing your daughter. You have proof. Because guess what? What if something would have happened to her daughter and she never saw her again? They planned this entire thing. This was a plan from the beginning. Now, this is definitely not a video to tell y'all how great Diddy is. This ain't it. But what y'all got to understand is it doesn't matter how much you hate a person. You can't be like, "Oh, I don't like them, so they should go to jail for the rest of their lives." Now, I know it's some ignorant ass people like that. That's just not me, okay? The simple fact of the matter is, I'm gonna say it again, the jury didn't believe it. They didn't believe it. Cassie planned this the entire time. Y'all gotta understand, Cassie been with Diddy for years. She knew his dirt. Okay. She knew his dirt. She testified how jealous she was of Kim. She testified to this. Diddy's attorney told y'all when these charges came out that Cassie was trying to extort Diddy for money. His attorney said that. Nobody believed it. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't either, because I'm a woman too. I was like, oh no, He did that, just like some of y'all, because it's the natural reaction to believe whenever somebody says that they're a victim. Now, I hope you believe the same thing if it happens to your son, your husband, your cousin, of people like that, because this ain't just saying Diddy, this is just for anybody. Everybody deserves a period of due diligence. If he said he didn't do it, he deserved the right to go to trial. He wasn't convicted of that. Now he was convicted of something. He just wasn't convicted of what she said he did to her. So ultimately, what the jury decide is yes, y'all was paying for prostitutes. And guess what? Who else was paying for them? Cassie. Because did not the sex workers testify that Cassie was the actual person that was paying them? Okay, so make that make sense. If Diddy was convicted of prostitution, right? Because they flying people. And keep in mind, if this was something they did in one state, it would be a state charge. But because they flew people from all over, wherever they was coming from, it's a fed charge. Now, y'all must understand this. These charges were brought based on Cassie. Now, I know some of y'all really believe that the federal government just pick these charges up. Absolutely not. Cassie and her attorney, as he said in an interview, you just got to be able to read between the lines that Cassie prepared for this trial right after the settlement. So you saying that Cassie predicted that the government was going to reach out to her and say, Cassie, we need you to testify. Absolutely not. Cassie had a plan. The plan was, I need to get the money from him. Once I get the money, I am going to put him in prison for the rest of his life. And that is what she thought was going to happen, okay? Because if y'all recall, the other day when he was found not guilty, they wanted to give him bail. And who sent a letter to the judge? None other than Cassie. She wants him to stay in jail, which is absolutely crazy considering her lawyer, who's a liar. You know, most lawyers are lawyer. Her lawyer said, well, Cassie is, when she testified and she went back to her life because what she wants to do is focus on her family. No, you're not focused on your family because you have to accept the decision. The reason why Cassie doesn't want to accept the decision, y'all, is because the shit never happened. And she's afraid that Diddy is going to get out. She's not afraid that he's going to do anything to her because if he was going to do something to you, he would have did it when he was free. He's not going to get out and do anything to you. What she's afraid of is that she knows now that this case is over and Diddy may have information to expose her. This woman was out for money from the very beginning. She became bitter when Diddy was messing with all the women that he was messing with. But the crazy part is, y'all, she testified. She knew this. Usually when you're in a relationship, they lie. He actually was honest. Not still saying that he's a great person, y'all. I'm not saying that because you really can't go to jail for being a bad or a good person. Nobody gives a damn. The fact of the matter is, this woman, which is, sometimes what a lot of women do, like I said, they bat their eyelashes, put on their makeup, and y'all suck it all in, especially if they cute. She told y'all a bunch of bullshit. And now she cannot accept the jury's decision because, for one, she really thought this man was going to spend the rest of his life in prison. Because there's no way you're scared now, sweetheart. But you wasn't scared when you sued him for the $20 million He was free. He wasn't on bail. He was free to go anywhere he wanted, but you wasn't scared enough to sue him. Cassie planned this. She built up her evidence for a time such as this because, listen, who collects evidence for years and years and years and able to tell it in chronological order with pictures? If y'all recall, some of the other witnesses, some of the things that they testified to, they had no proof. No proof. But Cassie had bruises. She had all of these things. But the one thing that the jury didn't believe is because, Cassie, you can't say you were trafficked when there is evidence that you are asking to go freak off. When the workers say that you enjoyed it, and then they say that you specifically, even the one worker, I can't remember his name, he said Cassie called him when he was actually on a date with his girlfriend, and he told her he couldn't come. And you know what Cassie said? Can you send somebody else? So this lady planned this entire thing. She planned the entire thing. But again, what y'all need to do is look at both sides. I know some of y'all want to believe, oh, you know what she said was right. 12 jurors didn't believe her. And keep in mind, they didn't just believe her, they didn't believe that other hoe either.